Welcome back to the Dodwell Dialogues, Mother and Daughter Unfiltered. I am Maddy.
And I'm Dani. We're in this amazing podcast studio. I'm going to take that chair home with me. But we found another topic we are talking about now, which is, we call it adulting. And I never knew what adulting means.
What am I doing? So welcome for any newcomers, or welcome back. Some of you may know that I'm 19 now.
And I'm 49 and 50
going
weeks.
on 50. And yeah, I don't know. I've been sort of questioning a lot lately, turning 18 and 19. Like, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? What am I meant to...
Shall I tell you all in honesty?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody knows that they know what they're doing. I think a lot of us adults are pretending to know things. Or I'll get already to speak for myself, but sometimes you just wing it. Whatever situation, you just deal. Somehow it works out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When it comes to like paperwork or insurances, or you just do it. And I know you've been like 13 years in school, and you go to school, you've got your structured day every day, you have your breaks, you come home, you do your homework, you do your after school activities, and that's like ingrained in you. And then when you turn 18, you finish if you go down the traditional route of A-levels or whatever apprenticeships, then you're an adult, so you're legally an adult and you're responsible for your own behaviors and your own bits and bobs. And it's really hard, especially as a parent, to you see your child, and years and years and years you do things for them. You book the appointments for the dentist because they don't know how to telephone people because you're 5 or 6 years old, so I can't expect it. Me and Dad sort of said, actually, you need to do some bits. You need to go to the dentist by yourself. I can't go in to the dentist chair with you and hold your hands. And these are steps which are adulting, because you're leaving your cozy bedroom and schooling, and I think you're like in a bubble, in your school bubble.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've been finding it quite hard, to be completely honest. I do feel like a really small fish in a very, very big pond. Especially going on a gap year and moving abroad. It was a lot all at once.
It was, but I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Because that was the scariest thing ever. I mean, I moved abroad when I was 25. But I knew I had a bit of life experience then. I mean, and being 18, leaving your 13 years of schooling, I repeat myself now, then stepping into a different country with a different language, living
culture,
with a different family you've met twice, all of a sudden being there on your own, looking after au pair children.
I love the experience that I had, and I'm so, so grateful for everybody that helped me along the way. But there were times where I felt like I'd been thrown in the deep end, and I also developed a sort of imposter syndrome where I didn't feel like I should be doing what I was doing. Like, I wasn't entirely sure how to look after myself, let alone 3 young kids. So, the fact that they kind of trusted me to do that, and the fact that I somehow managed to do that, is sort of crazy looking back.
It is, and I think in those moments they're the best moments, because in the end you learn to trust yourself and you become your own person. And I know it sort of felt cruel, because in the end it was my idea. I thought she could do that.
I know this is like, I'm so grateful that you encouraged and pushed me to do it, because I do think it's been one of the best experiences in my life, and I do think that I've grown as a person because of it. But it does feel like sometimes you've always been trying to ship me over to some other country. Like, growing up, it was always like, oh, go to this German summer camp, or like, oh, you should go live abroad. I was like,
I don't want to.
Do you not want me here anymore?
I'm glad you took the bulls by the horn and did it, and you stuck with it, and you didn't come home after 2 weeks, because it's like a 360 turn, isn't it?
It was tough, and I'm going to uni in a month now as well, and I feel like that will be tough as well. And I'm sure anyone else watching who's, moved away from home, it is scary and it is emotional. And I think I'm very lucky to be able to miss my family. And, as soon as I got there, I just remember bawling my eyes out as soon as you guys left. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need my mum. I need my parents.
Oh, I remember going back to work on the Wednesday, messaging my manager saying, please do not call me. And don't ask me how I am, because I was just sobbing all the way home, crying.
What's it like for a parent? Because, I don't know, for me it's kind of my own life and I'm doing my own things, but I guess...
I mean, deciding to have children changes your life. In the end, you put your path on hold and you care for your children. And I think sometimes that I was not overprotective. I was protective of you, and I didn't want you to feel hurt. And now it is surreal. It really is surreal. And what I always remember is that when I went to visit you, and we went to Zurich, and we went to that restaurant, and I was ready to, and you made the reservation online. And I then was ready to march to the take charge, go to the reception. So yes, we've booked a table. And then you said, I got it. I can do this. And that was like a really proud moment, thinking, actually, she has got now that strength to go out there and talk to people. Because for you, talking to people was scary as hell.
Yeah.
And talking to people is scary.
And in another language as well.
Another language.
I think, it's never been diagnosed, but I think growing up, I had some sort of social anxiety. I was always very, very nervous, in groups. And in school, all of the teacher reports were like, good student, but could very do quiet. With talking more. She's very quiet. I think I'm loud amongst the people I'm comfortable with, but I think speaking out in front of, crowds is a very big thing for me. Or even, going to the dentist was something I consciously had to sort of
nurture.
Make myself do. But I think going abroad and sort of being in the deep end just made me come out my shell.
Yeah, and what I feel is that we don't appreciate people that are more introverts and more quiet. We always get drawn to the loud people, and the quiet ones get ignored. And I had the same in my school reports. I could participate more. But why would I if there's enough loud people around me?
I am the same. I think now I'm definitely still an introvert. I keep to myself. But if there's that extrovert person missing in the room, I'll turn into them. So I'll be loud if I have to be, but if I don't, then I won't be.
Yeah. You learn more about yourself, and sometimes to quieten down certain aspects and just say, just go do it.
True.
It's 20 seconds to fame, as it Matt Damon said that, you just overcome your fears and just do it.
But yeah, I guess adulting is a sort of a thing that you just have to do. I guess you never have to, it's just one day you turn 18 and suddenly everybody has these sort of expectations of you, and you have to start doing all of these things by yourself. But it's also really hard because I feel like 18 is classed as an adult, but I don't feel like that's when you become an adult.
You are not, your brain still develops until you're 24, 25.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've heard that the frontal lobe fully develops when you're 25, but there's a lot of expectations and sort of responsibilities that get put on you when you're 18.
I feel now that having the legal responsibility to go to school until you're 18 delayed other developmental sides in independence, because you've been capped into another schooling for another 2 years. A lot of stuff you just don't have time to learn, deal with.
For sure. And I feel like I've done quite a bit of adulting this year, but in a way, I'm going to university also to kind of prolong the sort of, do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm scared of being an adult, but I think uni sort of puts it off for another 4 years. Because it's the sort of same schooling, you get a routine every day.
You do homework.
Yeah, I don't know, it's hard because I remember Dad saying to me the other day, he was like, oh, you need to take a bit more responsibility for things. And I was like, I don't know. It kind of hit me.
It upset you.
Because I was like, well, I have been. Like, I've moved abroad for 6 months. I worked there. I came home. I worked. I applied for a job as an English teacher. I worked there. Like, what else do you want me to do? Looking at, the property ladders and stuff now, I can't move out until I'm like, I don't know, 28. It's scary.
I think he meant to grow up is not when you pick and choose. That you sometimes you got to do things even if you don't like to do them. For example, the washing needs to be switched on, put in the washing machine, switched on, and taken out and hung up, and then taken down, and not pick and choose. Oh, I put the washing machine on.
Yeah.
But then I forget all about it because deep inside, that somebody else will sort it out, and it's this stepping up, or not having this. Oh, do I have to do that again? Or yes,
I think, but it's also the sort of realization that I'm now like an adult and I can't go back is sort of, I don't know. It's crazy because I think I'm quite lucky in terms of chores and stuff because I will say I do help out, maybe not as much as you want me to. But I don't know, there's something about going to work every day and then having like a day to do all of your chores, like the kitchen or like the washing and stuff. Like, when do I get time to myself to have fun and go out with friends? It's scary. It's like starting to realize that,
So your adulting might not look like having a 9-to-5 job, Monday to Friday, having a house. Maybe your life, maybe you need to structure your future in a different way.
I feel like when I was in Switzerland, I was in like a dream world. I don't know if it was all a bit too good to be true because I really, really liked my job. And I think, I had a lot of things paid for me and then I could meet up with friends, whenever I was free and wanted to. They were quite lenient. But I think like coming back home is just all a bit.
But it's a sort of, I mean, when you say reality, I think reality always restricts your dreams. So at the moment I feel like you are between worlds. You are in I feel you're in the holding stage.
Yeah, it's really awkward because I'm old enough to drink and be responsible for committing crimes and stuff, but I'm still not old enough to move out from home. And
so I think you were in this universe in Switzerland, sampling a bit of life outside your family. And then you got thrown back into the past type of thing where you were in your own bedroom again. And we had our little routines and stuff where you thought, I don't like some of them anymore. But you had to fit back in. So you fell a little back into your old habits, which don't align with mine at times. But it's what it is. And now I find you're like you're in a train station waiting for your train taking you up to Bristol. And I think we have to give each other more time. There is no all these measurements we have. You are an adult when you're 18 and you have the responsibilities. And I think we have to give ourselves a bit more freedom to explore things. I think now this model of doing your education, doing your apprenticeship, doing your university, then slotting into a job, having like a holiday once a year to keep you happy, to have a car. These are all norms. They don't align with a lot of people anymore. Then have work till you're 60. I don't know, I said 68. Now then have your pension.
It's going to keep going up and up and up. And I said this the other day. I was like, oh yeah, I only have 2 weeks of work left. And then I thought to myself, oh, and then like another 55 years.
And I think now it's the time to reevaluate how we live our lives. Do we need to have this big house? Do we have to have a flash car? What's important to us? Do we see connection and get away from this? Look at me, I've got this high-paid job and I've got the newest Gucci bag. I don't care about brands.
It's like everyone's competing to be the most adult or the best adult.
Yeah, and in the end, if you want to wear, I don't know, dungarees or sandals and comfy
Sainsbury's
trousers.
own trousers.
Oh yeah, I love my Sainsbury's stuff.
I think branded stuff is overrated anyway.
So I think our chats always come back to find your true self and you find your way.
But how do you find your true self? Because I remember growing up and you always told me, you were like, oh, Maddy, you just need to be true to yourself and follow your passions. I was like, I don't know what that is.
But it's something it doesn't happen unless you have like a vision and you know, this is what I'm going to do. It takes some adults never ever. They're just they just continue with their reality. Others break out of that and realize there's more. And I think that's mainly, and you know, it used to be the midlife crisis when you suddenly realize this painting that's been painted for saying, doing work, doing this, have a child, have a marriage, have a house, have a car, do your job, fulfills you. I think a lot of people in their 40s then realize it doesn't. It doesn't. A house. No. I love our house. It swallows money. you need to maintain it. A car is the same.
It does. Do you know what I really, really want to do? I want to buy a van.
Oh, yeah.
And then sort of do the van up so that I can live in the van and then just drive around Europe.
Yeah.
For a year or two. And just like live amazing. Life like that.
So, I mean, you know, you have done a qualification to teach English to foreign students. So this job can take you across the world.
So true. But I think sort of realizing that I probably don't want to work a 9-to-5 job has been very profound.
So, and I think that gave you, so in that year you went against the grain. All of your friends went to uni, straight from A-level into uni, whilst you did the opposite. You stepped back because I was really worried about you. You were mentally, so your brain was exploding when you had your results last year, that I was really concerned about you. And I knew that it was the best thing to take you out of this crazy school system.
Yeah. But in all fairness, I do think I put a lot of that on myself.
You did.
Because you and Dad have never been the type of parents to be like, you need to get good grades, otherwise blah, 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 and you need to study every night for 3 hours. I think I put a lot of that on myself a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Sort of like pressure to do well, because I've always been quite conscious about my future and wanting to do the best so that I can have the best and the most opportunities for my future. But I think I've realized this year that it's just not that important, and it's not, and your mental health isn't worth grades.
No. I think one of our sort of things to take away is you don't have to follow everyone else's footsteps. If you feel you can't do or don't want to do something, trust your own instincts.
Trust your guts. That's another thing I've like really learnt this year, is if you have a feeling or an intuition towards something, just go with it.
Intuition is a whisper, and we don't listen to the whispers enough.
I think my host Dad also gave me a sort of analogy that like sticks with me. He's like, imagine you're in a kayak and all of a sudden the river splits into two and you have to pick either the left or the right lane. And he was like, because if you don't pick one, you're going to end up crashing in the middle.
Mm.
And I think that's actually really stuck with me because I find it really hard to make decisions.
Brilliant.
And I was like, I said to him, I was like, what happens if I choose the wrong one? He was like, well, you know, one might have been easier than the other, but firstly, you shouldn't have to worry about that because you avoided crashing.
And there will always
be a greener
stream.
pasture. And I think what scares me as well is sort of having regret about decisions and making a decision and then like a couple months later being like, oh, this is not it. But I think it's also important to realize that you can go and do something else afterwards.
Yeah, I know you're going to love your uni and the studying. But however, if you think, I don't want to do this anymore,
Yeah,
you don't have to finish it.
No.
You can decide, actually, I'm had enough. I'm happy to just go on my camper van.
yes.
I'll work in a cafe or whatever. It's your life. And I think with
But it's just taking the first jump that's always the hardest, I think.
And I think sometimes I feel parents don't know when to let go or don't want to let go and think that they can live their life through their children, their dreams. And
I feel like when parents put their sort of past career aspirations, they're just like living vicariously through that child. And it's such a shame because they put a lot of their own pressures and insecurities on their children as well then.
We've never learned because we are in this wheel of stretching. We're doing the same thing our parents did. And until you realize, you break out of it and actually thinking, this is BS. How we've been, the people who invented these systems, they're all dead. Why can't we have a new system?
It was made for industrialization, and so that's what school as well is fit for. It's fit to make factory workers, but I think there's just so much more to life, and I think the world is evolving, to be fair, and I think a lot of people are kind of waking up and realizing that there are a lot of different avenues that you can go down, but I think taking the leap and going against the grain is really scary.
It is, and it takes guts,
but I think it is more often than not worth it.
And the ones that shout the loudest critiques, it's their biggest insecurity, and they're the ones that probably would want to do it themselves but too scared.
Yeah.
And adulting, we're all adulting, and I feel that some adults who say they've got it all figured out, I think they're lying. Because every day is a new day for everyone. I always remember I shared that reel where a mother and, I don't know if it's mother, a younger and an older woman were standing in front of the sea, and the older one was saying to the younger person, you know, I'm a girl. What was it like? I'm living every day the first time. So
I've seen that as well. Like, I try not to use TikTok, but I still do it sometimes. But it was this video of this girl, and she was like, I've just realized my mum is living her first life too, and that sticks with me, to be fair, because every day for you is a new day, and
which I've never lived before.
Yeah.
No.
I think with parents, it's quite easy to just assume that you know everything. And I think probably more so when I was younger, I assumed that you and Dad knew everything.
Because you haven't formed your own opinions. You think your parents are the world. And then you grow older and you think, I don't agree with their opinions in certain things, or oh my God, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
and you had an age where you had this
challenging everything.
Yeah, where you were saying, oh, why are you saying that? Or don't say that. Or it's like, okay. But we all growing every day, and I think the most important is with adulting, never, always be willing to learn.
And always be willing to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, but I was always so scared to ask for help from random people. But I've had to this past year, and honestly, it's been the best thing ever. Because I would say the majority of people you ask to help you will. and they won't be horrible about it. They'll be nice.
No, they will be. And, even when I travel to Germany, and when we travel, I still ask people just to, I sort of probably know the answer, but just to double check. And yes, people are helpful. There's no humans are malicious and want not.
I think it's fair to say that there are probably some people out there that would, ignore you but I just think you just have to take the jump and ask, because it's okay to ask for help, and whether that's asking directions at a train station or asking for some sort of mental help, I think you just have to ask.
So you, as a 19-year-old, what would your tips be to someone that's maybe 16, 17, 18? What would you tell them to do to get to the next step?
Do like after their studies, or
just to feel more independent and in control of their life?
That's a really difficult question. I mean, I can only really speak from experience, but I think moving away is definitely a catalyst for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I didn't move away, I wouldn't have been, sort of half the person. It sounds really cringy and it sounds really cliche.
You wouldn't have coloured your bra.
Oh, God. I did washing before in the past, but this was the first sort of week I was in Switzerland, and I put all of my washing in together, and I think there was a red tissue or something in it. So all of my white clothes ended up pink.
But that's when you learn and you know that maybe to separate your washing.
No, it wasn't because I didn't separate my washing. It was because there was a coloured tissue.
Oh, okay. So, but these are things. So, and yes. So we said, move away, get out of your parents' tallows.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved away when I was 24. I decided to go to England for 4 weeks because
mm-hmm.
I didn't want to stay in my town. I felt there was something more out there. And it broadens your horizon. Anything, even if you move to the next town.
For sure. I think going away from your hometown at least once in your life is so important. And I appreciate that, it does cost money. But even if, you go on budget traveling with your friends, I think it's so important to just get out into the world.
But the au pair didn't really cost you any money.
No, I would definitely recommend au pairing to anyone, 18 and over as a sort of gap year thing.
Yeah.
Because it means you can go travel, and it also means you can earn a bit of pocket money at the same time.
And you get used to other family units and how they do things, and you can form your own opinion on how you maybe want to lead your life or how not to do things.
Yeah, there were so many things I realised when I was living over there that I didn't like about what we as a family do. Because before I went, I was like, yeah, my family's pretty chill. We, harmonious, we get along, we do all these things. But then afterwards I was like, there are small things that I didn't quite
and I think that's important to realize that your own family unit is not perfect, and again that you can bring back new ideas and routines and suggestions, and I think I'm open for new things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've had a lot more experience than I have in terms of adulting. Do you have any sort of tips for me, maybe, or anyone sort of a similar age of?
I think the first one is ask questions. I think if you don't know something, it's normal. Otherwise, we would be all the wondrous whether it's encyclopedias who know everything. So ask. If you're stuck, ask. If you think you can't do something, count from 5 to 1 and then do it.
Just jump in.
Just do it.
I found myself saying that a lot lately. I was like, just screw it.
Just go for it, because your inner critique will always keep you safe. It will always say, don't do it, it's dangerous. But just do it.
Take
and
risks.
Afterwards, the rewards are sometimes really profound and amazing. And don't listen to other people. I know we want to please everyone, but you need to follow your gut and your intuition, because in the end you've got one life. you don't live your life for me and dad and extended family and friends. If you think I want to do this, you do it.
For sure, you only have YOLO. You only have one life. I think you need to do what makes you happy and not please other people, because I was and probably still am a really big people pleaser, and I do deep down care what other people think, but I talk about it a lot, but this year has changed my mindset in that way, and thinking people are going to judge you regardless of what you do or what you say, so you might as well be happy.
And you can't change their brain and their thinking.
No.
And most of the times, they don't even think about you and don't even have any feeling about it.
Everybody's so focused on themselves. Yeah. Like, nobody cares.
Well, do you remember when we used to go down, was it in COVID times, and we went down the beach just in the evening for our evening stroll, and he said, I can't walk around that way. There's some people I know. I don't want them to see me. And again, I know it's all insecurities. And in the end, they probably wouldn't have even noticed you. Or when it was like, oh, I'm wearing not the right thing.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't have even be able to tell you what colour shirt you wore.
I think that's just something you learn as you grow up.
Exactly.
It's just like not to care, and also that people don't notice.
It's such a full topic, and there is no right or wrong.
And we could probably never finish talking about this topic either, because I'm learning new things every day, and you're learning new things every day, and you know.
And some things I've totally changed my mind. You remember I remember we were sitting in the lounge, and I was saying, you should know by now what you want, and you said or something, you wanted to be a marine biologist.
God.
And I had this attitude of, you don't get any money with all that, and blah 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 blah, and I stormed out, I think, because I thought, well, everybody else what they know. And I had this I was drawn into this, you have to, because the schools constantly say, oh, they need to know their career path, blah, blah, blah. And I was sort of pulled in. And over the years, I've realized that was a totally crappy thing to say to you. And I apologize to you as well.
It was hard. And I also remember you desperately wanting me to do an apprenticeship. Now, I think I'm not the type of person who's very good with their hands. I don't think I'd be very good at becoming, I don't know, a plumber or an electrician. Like, I can maybe do the basics, but I think I'm more into the sort of academics. And you telling me that was kind of like, you're my mum, you're meant to know me.
Yeah.
And I think apprenticeships and, are such a good avenue for things, but it just wasn't for me.
I know. And in hindsight, that was just thinking back on that now, I think, my God, why did I say these things? But now, doing a lot of sort of learning and relearning things, I realized that this was just the thread and the fabric I was brought up with.
And I think I resented you at the time.
I did.
For saying a lot of these things, because I don't know, it felt like you didn't sort of trust my intuition or where I wanted to be, and how was I meant to know what I wanted to do with my life? But I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realised that you're not perfect either, and that you don't always know what to say. I think that's the sort of issue with being the oldest sibling as well, is I'm sort of the guinea pig for all of your advice.
And don't forget, I grew up in Germany, where school structures and stuff are different, where the majority of people do an apprenticeship. And if you went to grammar school, you were the only ones that were doing A-levels. And I did my apprenticeship. But then learning so much more over the years, broadening my horizon about that there is more ways than earning money than just your career.
Traditional 9 to 5.
It takes time, and thankfully I expanded my horizon and realized, God, some of the stuff I saw was just really happy, but realizing, there's a different way in life, and you don't have to own anyone anything, and as long you are happy. And with us now working in jobs where you think, this is not what I want anymore, and taking the leap to do something else, it's exhilarating.
For sure. I think it's been very inspiring watching you, transition from your sort of 9-to-5 job to the sort of social media side. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a bit skeptical about it all, but it has been very, very cool watching you just take the leap.
Who knows where it will take me? It's still all in the infant stage. 1.5 years, I thought, oh yeah, I'll do it, and I'll be then. It's all known. But this 1.5 years, I really learned a lot about myself, and I had to do a lot of internal work first.
Soul searching.
Healing like traumas. Where I always thought a trauma means I don't know, something profound that you were sort of had like abusive parents, but trauma could be anything. Trauma could be your teacher saying something to you, and that really affected. For example, my maths teacher said I was useless, and my English teacher said to me, "I'll never make it in England." And these things they heard, or with
they do stick with you, and it can be small things as well, like small little interactions.
It could be, for example, the gap in the teeth, or when somebody said to me, "Oh my God, you're getting bold." These kind of things, they don't know that they hurt you with that, but I think people have become very
desensitized
and think they can say whatever, and then say, "Well, it's up to you how you feel about it." But
Dad said that to me the other day. It was you said something to me that made me upset, because we do still bicker and we do still argue. And that's okay, that's perfectly normal. But I just remember him being like, your mother didn't make you feel like that, you're choosing to feel like that. And I was like, well, not really though. Because
I know what that was, and I'm really sorry for that. But as we said, we are learning.
But I think the thing we've learnt now is not to hold grudges about these things, is to accept them, apologize and move on.
Yeah, and not being like sweltering on them for ages.
Oh gosh, because I think that was the issue from the past, is that we used to stick on to things for a while and refuse to get over them. But now,
and I think also with adulting, as a parent point of view, accept your parents, accept their children as individuals. I mean, I follow Facebook groups where like there's like parents with teenagers, and a lot of them were complaining about, we've paid for this expensive holidays, and my teenagers, they don't want to go to the pool, they're going to go to the hotel, they want to go out, they want to do this. And I think we forget they're not 5 anymore. They used to love jumping in the pool. They might not like it. They might not jumping in the pool.
And we change so quickly as well within a span of a couple months. It's like when I went away, I was only away for 6 months, but my brother had changed so incredibly much, and it was scary.
And I just go back to the hotel and teenagers. Maybe they don't want to be exposed with just their swimming trunks. Maybe. they're self-conscious. If they want to be on their phone all day, well, let them. In the end, I've learned that if
that's what makes them happy and they enjoy that, then
or if they don't want to go for walks, well, you still can go for walks, right? You still need to do things, and I think with a lot of parents now, you need to let them go. And if they decide they don't want to do their homework, fine. Then they get it from the teachers. If they decide to not go for a shower for 3 days, in the end, people tell them that they smell.
But yeah, it's the joys of parenting and growing up, I think. But
and I also feel nowadays, because again, we're like, you search up everything on the internet and stuff. We lost track of our self-worth and ourselves, and we have lost
constantly comparing ourselves to other people. I find myself doing that a lot, but I think again it's just one of those things that you need to learn not to do.
And I think it comes back to a lot of this finding yourself and trusting yourself, and also trusting your children that they're capable of so much more.
Yeah, that's true.
And not I want to protect you from everything. I want to
Yeah.
protect you from the evils, and I want to do everything for you. But I don't help myself with that. That makes, because I'm my own person, and I want to do things I want to do. I didn't want to be a mum who, of course, I mourn my children growing up, and we're not doing Lego and arts and crafts anymore.
But it's a natural process, and I think when you had us, you must have known that this time will come.
You don't, though. You just look at the baby stage. I didn't realize that when your teenage boy decides to like fashion, that
you'd have to fork out £70 for a pair of joggers.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But I think if you would know everything, you wouldn't have children. So I think that's biological fine.
I think it's a constant journey, and it's something you'll never fully know. But that was sort of our take on adulthood, I guess. I think we're going to try and wrap it up now.
Yeah, so I think trust your instinct, trust your gut. Ask questions.
For help and ask
Tell
questions.
your parents to help you with things. Parents also give your children space and trust them, and say, give them maybe, look, do you want to chat about this, or do you want me to show you? Not just saying, look, I show you now.
Or doing it for them. I think it's important that you maybe show them how, and you give them the tools, and then let them do it for themselves.
Yeah, so I think that's our take. Let them do things. Let them fail. Be there, support them. They will never be on their own.
No. And I think it doesn't have to be parents you ask help for. It could be, any sort of adult in your life. I think there are lots of people,
friends, family,
whether it's
friends.
in person either. There's a lot of help online as well.
So if you have questions, or you're confused even more now, just
feel free to message us, or put any queries in the comments.
Yeah, so I think when we left last year, I wrote a blog about adulting. So if you want, I'll put my link from my website on there. It's my take on things, but I think it's just let yourself grow as a parent, let yourself grow as a teenager, and trust yourself.
Trust the process.
Yeah, and also step over fear and just go for it.
Go for it. But
I hope you got some things out of our little podcast here.
Yeah.
I think
even if it was just listening to it in the background. And hope you enjoyed listening. Thanks for listening to us ramble. Thanks.
I really enjoyed that. So you go out and take what's yours.
Yeah, you believe in yourself.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.